GNCC ATV Racing Series has started with a surprise. Young Chris BORICH has won the first 2 rounds of the season. Will his confidence carry him through Georgia, or will defending champion Bill Ballance's determination put him back on top? This is it. Just seconds away from the start of the General GNCC, and this man, #1 Bill Ballance, must win to get back on the leaderboard. He has never lost this many GNCCs in a row since becoming the Grand National Cross Country ATV champ 5 years ago. If he wants to come back and win title #6, it has to start right now. Jason Wagan here giving the action. This is the Maxxis General GNCC, the Suzuki Grand National Cross Country Series, and we are underway. The largest ATV racing series in the world gets started in the deep woods of Georgia. But before we're in the woods, we're on a motocross track, and it is 4-stroke Tex Chris JENKS out front on the #7. Let's go back and check out how JENKS grabbed the whole shot as the rider goes down. Unbelievable action just to start this off. This is how GNCC begins. Engines off, the green flag waves, and they drag race into the first turn, and it is JENKS on that powerful 4-stroke Tech Honda getting the first turn first, and that is going to be a big advantage. Easy to pass her into the motocross track. It's going to be tougher in the woods. Looking to the lens of our Scott helmet cam on board with William YOKLEY, the factory Suzuki rider. And there you see what it's like, eat mud, eat roots, and dealing with the best riders in the world, fighting for lines, fighting for position out front. We've got 2 hours of ATV racing today from Georgia, and it is going to be awesome. And YOKLEY and the rest of his field try to figure out how to stay up front. Oh, as they bang wheels and bang bars early, trying to get themselves into position. There you see right out in front of them is Balance, our champ. And now they start to stack up as they go into the woods. You've got to be smart. You've got to pick the right lines as you slalom through these trees. It is going to get so rough. These guys are going to get so tired. And they try to focus when you're fighting conditions like this for hours. Look at the different lines. Look at the passing going on. There's so much information these guys have to process. YOKLEY riding our Scott helmet cam, making it look pretty good. Running up front early, I think we have about 4th place right now. But out front is Chris JENKS on that 4-stroke Tech machine. What a phenomenal performance by that rider. He's up from up north, and he didn't expect to do that well today, but early on, so far so good. There's YOKLEY. The rider, again, going to go on board with our helmet cam, and it's exciting stuff. You see Balance right in front of him. And look at the contrast. Early in the race, they were 3rd, 4th gear, 40, 50 miles an hour on that motocross track. Now it is 1st gear, fighting your way through the tight woods. This is what these ATVs are really made for. Just like what the guys do at home. Riding through trails, dealing with ruts, roots, mud, rocks. That's what you do out here in GNCC, only you do it faster than almost anyone else in the world could possibly do. Chris JENKS still out front, hopping over that section right there. And he's trying to keep the front end up. You see him over the back of the machine, trying to use the horsepower to keep that front end light. You want to fight as few bumps as possible. So if you keep that front end up, you cut the amount of bumps you have to deal with in half. You deal with it rear wheel only instead of all 4. Here's BORICH battling it out with Matt SMILEY. There's BRYAN Baker. BRYAN Baker, formerly a champion of our old pro production class, now racing pro. But so far, they're all chasing West Virginia rider Chris JENKS, and that's a bit of a surprise. JENKS told us again before the race he did not expect to run so strong early in the season, but so far so good for him. There's YOKLEY now. You see him taking his ease through there, goes over that little bridge, just trying to be very smooth, very careful, very smart. You can lose a lot of positions early in the race. It's hard to gain them though. These riders just try to put themselves in position to be there on the last lap. There's our leaderboard right now. It is very early. JENKS, Rice, BORICH, Balance, and YOKLEY. Everyone else chasing them. We'll be back after this. Welcome back. It's the Maxxis General GNCC, ATV racing at its best, and the best riders have moved to the front of the pack. It is JENKS out front, and then, well, there's YOKLEY and SMILEY throwing mud on the camera. We've also got Jeremy Rice in the #2 position. Rice, our Pro-Am champion last year, he is a rookie. Chris JENKS, also a rookie, and let's talk to him.
Well, the newest contenders on the GNCC ATV circuit is Chris JENKS aboard the #7. And Chris, I know you're ready to win. You know you're ready to win. Is today the day?
I'd sure like to hope so. Been training, been down here trying to do a little riding, and it's more my kind of a track, not a lot of whoops. It's going to be more the woods that I'm used to. Hopefully I can put it together today and at least be in the top 3.
Modest goal so far for Jenks. He's out front. Now this guy would love to win it. William Yokley, let's talk to him.
It's going to be a pretty tough race out there today. Georgia terrain's usually awfully rough. It's chopped out, but I think I'm up to it. I think the bike's going to work good out here today. Competition's stiff, but just going to go out there and have some fun. It's a beautiful day, and I think my Suzuki will work good. Just see how it turns out.
Yokley, man, you gotta love that guy. He's just a fun-loving boy from Southern Kentucky. He loves piloting that ATV out here. In the rougher the terrain, the better it is for Yokley. He likes it tough. Here is Jenks out front again, but now the pressure beginning to be applied. They have dumped Jeremy Rice from this lead pack, and it is now the Killer Bees again, just like we've seen early in these races so far this season. BORICH and BALLANCE in second and third, putting the pressure on. In the back of the pack, that is Matt Smiley on the factory. Polaris had a podium last week in Florida, so he does have some confidence coming in here in Georgia. One lap complete. Jenks continuing to circulate out front, and that four-stroke tech team and Jenks himself got to be a little surprised by this. In fact, not too much pressure being applied early by BORICH and BALLANCE. I would think that those guys are just going to try to stay with each other and count on Jenks getting tired on this rough racetrack. Hot weather, long day. BORICH and BALLANCE have proven they have the endurance. Jenks has not yet. Maybe those guys are just going to wait. There is Rice. He has dropped back now after a good start. And they're all going to have to deal with some very tough conditions. I'm going to get down to this Yamaha swamp and let's talk about it. Well, it's kind of hard to keep your clothes clean in a GNCC race because everywhere you go, there's a potential for mud. And right now, we found it right here in the center of the racetrack, and this is a bottomless pit of deep Georgia goo, and the pro riders are going to hit it in about a minute. But even when they get through it the first time, they're not out of the woods because lap after lap of the pros and amateurs hit this, it's going to get really bad, and the race in the last lap might be decided right there. We'll keep an eye on it. Here it is. This is the Yamaha swamp. Here's Jenks. Wide open. No problem whatsoever. Now, I just want to, again, keep in mind, this is going to get bad. Right now, it's just a minor little puddle, but we've got 500 ATV riders out here right now, and this is nothing like it's going to be late in this race. Yokley just sliding through it on his Suzuki. No problem at all. The Yamaha swamp, though, that is going to get bad, and you see now, after about 5 riders have gone through, there is I believe that's Sandro DeRisi trying to fight his way through there. As these riders fight through this section, it's going to get worse. And at the end of this race, it's going to be tough. Let's go to William Yokley and our pro tip on this mud hole.
We're here with William Yokley and our Suzuki Pro Rider Tip of the Week. And you know, anybody that's ever ridden anywhere has encountered a mud hole. And boy, did we have a doozy here at the General GNCC. Tell us how you handled this one, William.
Well, Rodney, when I dropped down in the mud pit, I looked and seen water in the soft mud there. And just once I got down in there, I just cranked the RPMs up, got the weight to the back, carried some good momentum across the water in the mud, and just shot across through there with a little slide finger on the clutch so I didn't stall the motor. And I knew there were some steep lines to the right and the left. I picked the one to the left. I went up and everything worked out good, and that's the way it came out.
And you made it look so easy. That's your Suzuki Pro Rider Tip of the Week.
Thanks a lot, Rodney Tomlin. We're still here in this Yamaha swamp, and you see it's mud is starting to get dragged further and further toward that hill, and it is going to get tough as this day goes on. But Rodney's right. These pro riders, like William Yokley, make it look a whole lot easier than it really is. As we go further and further back into the pack, amateur riders, the expert riders, the intermediate riders, the beginner riders, they are going to struggle, and the more of those riders get stuck, the harder those lines are going to be to follow because it's going to get deeper and deeper. You're going to get hung up, and these pros, every time they enter, are going to have to try to pick a different way through. You've got to be smart here in GNCC racing. The track changes every lap. You do about 12-mile laps here, and once you hit it, by the time you come back around, about 400 other riders have as well. So the track's completely different, and you've got to learn quickly and adapt. Now, let's talk about the racing up front. We've got the Killer Bees and Chris Jenks. There's Jenks, our leader, but BORICH and BALLANCE, that is kind of a private war right now. They have been the fastest 2 guys so far early in this season, and BORICH, well, he won first 2 rounds, so he's got a lot of momentum, and BALLANCE right now has got to stop him. How about this? Yokley has actually gotten around BALLANCE right now, so again, BALLANCE is struggling. The defending champ got to be wondering what's going on. Let's talk to Team Polaris' Matt Smiley. There he is. Let's find out about his hopes today in Georgia.
Yeah, I think we got a really good chance here today. I'm real excited to get out here and race. Polaris Predator was working great for me down in Florida. I got a podium finish. A real rough day down there. Should be a little smoother here today.
little bit more woodsy. I'm real excited to get out there, and I like my chances.
Polaris likes his chances as well. They're really happy that Smiley in just 2 races has put that machine on the podium. Right now battling for the podium, the 2 veterans from Kentucky, Balance and Yokley. They are in 3rd and 4th. But so far, I cannot believe that Chris Jenks has run this strong. BORICH, in fact, not even right to that rear grab bar. In fact, he's got a few seconds on BORICH. So Jenks riding very well. There's Yokley in 3rd. And where is Balance? Maybe we've lost him, I'm not sure. There is Smiley fighting through the woods. Anything can happen in GNCC. There's Brian Cook chasing him. Back to our leader, Chris Jenks. Back to our 2nd place rider, Chris BORICH. And I'll tell you what, Jenks does not look like he's holding BORICH up. He looks very comfortable with the pace he's running. And there, out of the corner of our eye, we catch Balance. So he is in 3rd. Yokley is in 4th. And Yokley looking very smart and calculated coming down that section. A lot of these riders trying to be conservative. And again, they know it's the last lap of GNCC racing. That's what it really comes down to. As we go further back in the pack, there's Brian Baker. He is a veteran. He knows this game well as well. They are not going to let it all hang out until they need to. But Jenks, well, he's letting it all hang out early. We'll see if he's able to hold on. It looks to me like BORICH and Balance are just going to try to let him get tired. And when it's late in this game, it might just be down to those 2 once again. But stranger things have happened in GNCC. Anything can happen. And letting someone run away with the lead, well, they start giving him confidence, and maybe that's exactly what Jenks needs. We're going to have to see how it all breaks down. The battle is on now between Smiley and Michael Houston, another 4-stroke tech rider. And his teammate Jenks is out front. There is BORICH. And look, BORICH laying back, not wanting to take the lead. And that has allowed Balance to catch back up. So maybe a miscalculation on the part of the young rider from Pennsylvania. He wants to keep Balance behind him. If they can prevent Balance from getting on a roll. Oh, and look at this mud hole here. It's gotten really bad now, and these guys are covered. You see them trying to keep their heads down, and what that does keeps the mud from getting on their goggles. Man, early in the race, this was like nothing, but now it's like ice. Positions changing rapidly through that section of the course, but no matter what they throw at him, Chris Jenks continues to lead as we look at our Suzuki leaderboard. We'll be back after this. Welcome back. It's the Suzuki Grand National Cross Country Series and our Yamaha Swamp, and it's getting hard now. Our leader, Chris Jenks, barely able to get through it. There's Bill Balance taking a look over his shoulder. He's taking up the number 2 spot, but look at Chris BORICH trying to move back into that runner-up spot. And somewhere back there stalking them is William Yokley. With BORICH and Balance, you see the multiple lines, and now we've got a rider stuck. So the Yamaha Swamp has finally claimed a victim. And now we've got 2 victims. Another rider trying to get through. Trying to figure out who that is. I think it's Michael Houston trying to get through that section. Another rider, is that the veteran? Yeah, that is Andy Langston trying to get through there as well. He makes it, but look at how tough it's getting now. Early in this race, it was a cakewalk, but now it's a mud bog. Classic GNCC right now. Spectators now trying to get involved and help these guys pull their machines out. I think that's Matt Smiley bogged in down there, and he was running in the top 5. So, anything can happen in GNCC. It just did. But our top 3 remains relatively unaffected. BORICH in 3rd, Balance in 2nd, and they're still chasing the young rider from Washington, West Virginia, Chris Jenks. Let's talk about pit stops now. Another big part of GNCC. Balance out of the pits, BORICH is in. Let's talk to BORICH's crew chief, Jimmy Duff.
Pitted on the 2nd lap right there with Chris. Both of them went back out. Right now, Bill's in the lead. Hopefully we get a good finish today.
You guys decided to pit early, and Jenks hasn't pitted yet. Is there a strategy behind that?
Sort of doing what Bill's doing, shadowing Bill. Bill pulled in, we pulled in. I don't know what his plan is. He just rides as he goes, you know.
Okay. Well, how about that? There's the strategy of Chris BORICH. He don't know if he has a strategy. He's just going as hard as he can. There's Yokley in 4th. Yokley's kind of lost touch with the Killer Bees and this leader right now, Chris Jenks. And there you see why Jenks is leading it. Hard into the corners and hard on the gas through the straight sections. And this is more like the classic GNCC race. You've got to fight your way through the trees. That is the #1 element out here. Keeping the tires, the A-arms, the steering components away from the trees. Look at how close they come to hitting that stuff. And trees don't move. It's like hitting a concrete wall if you hit one of those. And these guys, well, that tree went down. Jenks is really right over it, but he hit those big ones. You'll get stopped and you run the risk of damaging your equipment. So as hard as these guys are on the gas, they're trying to hold a little something back. I bet you if it's the last lap and it's still this close, they'll hold nothing back. When they hit a tree, oh well. Also, lap traffic now. Yokley having to deal with that. That's going to become a bigger and bigger factor. On to one of the wide open high-speed sections of the track. You continue to meet Jenks, Balance, and BORICH. And there is William Yokley in fourth. Chris BORICH got to be confident coming into this race. We talked to him earlier.
We're here with current points leader in the ATV GNCC circuit, Chris BORICH. And Chris, you've got 2 wins under your belt. Can you make it 3?
Yeah, I'm gonna go for it today. I feel good. Bike's working awesome. Down there in Florida, it was just working great, and I'm looking forward to today.
What's your strategy here today?
Just get a good start, go out there, pace myself, just follow whoever's leading, and just try to take the lead and try to get away from them like I did the last race there.
Well, so far so good for BORICH. He's right there in the hunt, and they have actually dumped Jenks like we expected. It's down to a 2-rider fight, and they are headed toward the swamp. Let's check it out. All right, we predicted this at the beginning of the show. This mud pit right here might decide the entire race. We got Balance and BORICH battling close. You figure they're going to go around it, but Chris Jenks in third. If he gets through that, he can take the lead and hold on to win his first ever GNCC. Well, that's what it is, and look. Here they go, and it looks like BORICH is going to go for it. BORICH is going to go for it. It is so dug out, I can't believe it at this point late in the race, and he's getting stuck. Can he get the Honda through? Yes! He just gets through there, and the advantage he gained, Balance had to get through lap traffic. BORICH split between them, and it is very close between those two. Oh! Jenks knocking down one of his crew members into the pits. Oh, and they are hustling in that 4-stroke tech pit. They lost some time there. Let's hear a strategy from his dad.
Well, he's kind of waiting for Balance to pit, and he didn't pit either, so he's going to have to pit this lap. And we're just trying to hold off so we could keep it close together and keep him right there with them.
All right, well, the Jenks family's got to be pumped. This is as close as they've ever been to a GNCC win, but when you start panicking down there, things like that happen. He came into the pit so hard, they actually knocked one of his crew members down. And now you see the Killer Bees have pulled away just a little bit. There is Jenks now rapidly trying to make up time. And I am really impressed with the corner speed he is showing on that 4-stroke tech machine. Into another mud pit. Look at how tough this section is. And Balance on his Yamaha YFC 450 handles it easily. But he's got Chris BORICH right behind him. There is Jenks, a completely different line to the right side of the track. Almost getting hung up. He's just scraping the skid plate, crossing his fingers, and hoping he gets through. There's Balance. Let's talk about Bill Balance for a second here. He has not won a GNCC race for a long, long time. He's where he wants to be. Can he hold on down the stretch? We'll find out when we return.
I'm here with William Yokley for our Moose Team Spotlight. William, tell me a little about your Yoshimura team.
Well, I've been part of the Suzuki Yoshimura team for the last couple of years now. This makes my 3rd year to be involved with these guys. They've been really great supporting me throughout my racing career. This makes my 3rd year. And we've really done a lot of testing and development. And those guys have just really been awesome. Couldn't do it without them, and especially the fans around the track. I'm really excited about the 2005 season and glad to be here.
All right, it's coming down to the last lap, but it did come down to that mud hole. Chris BORICH taking a huge risk going through it, and it paid off. He got through it, not only to make up a few seconds on Balance, but a lot of lap riders in between them. He got around him, and Balance had to fight for it. So now on the last lap, it's side by side, wheel to wheel, because BORICH took the risk, and it paid off. Well, it did. It is close. Now, they've gone through the mud hole. BORICH is closed in. There's your leader, Balance. Lappers waving him by, and there is BORICH just entering your screen. Bill Balance has not won a GNCC in months. BORICH has taken the first 2 rounds this year and 3 out of the last 4 last year. He is on the roll. Balance has got 1 lap to try to hold him off and stop the momentum of the young rider from Pennsylvania. It is the last lap at the Maxxis General GNCC, the Suzuki Grand National Cross Country Series, America's largest off-road racing series, and it is all on the line. We look at our 3rd place rider, Chris Jenks. He led this race for quite some time, and if he holds on for 3rd, he'll be very happy. As our leaders fight through the mud, Balance, BORICH, and you hear them pushing the throttles to the stop, hit the rev limiters, pushing those 450cc ATVs to the limit. You know, these guys gotta be tired. Here we are on the dirt track section, wide open. You cannot go any faster than that. Every ounce of horsepower is being utilized. Balance and BORICH fighting for it, launching over that jump. No fatigue, complete fitness on the course of both riders. It's going to come down to who wants it the most. There's our third place rider, Jenks. Phenomenal ride for him. If he finishes up on the podium, he's going to be very happy. Now, we've got to report that BORICH is taking the lead as we go to that mud hole. But look, there goes Balance to the left side. And on the right, there is BORICH hung up. We look at our replay. There is Balance. He was smart. He picked the left side. And you're going to see, look at the corner of your screen. On the right, there he is, smoke flying everywhere. BORICH had gotten the lead back late in his last lap, and he got stuck. And that's what makes Bill Balance a champion. He put himself in position, and we had one big mud hole to deal with, and Bill Balance dealt with it best, and that is going to pilot him to victory. And a very happy, a huge win for Bill Balance, our defending GNCC champ, and a very disappointed Chris BORICH sees his win streak come to an end. Chris Jenks will take third, and William Yokley on the factory Suzuki will take fourth. Let's talk to our winner, Bill Balance.
Pretty tough out there, and you know, I just come in today knowing that I needed to do something. It was time to get something started. Chris got off to a good start this season, but today I was just determined not to take anything else but a win, and pushed hard all day long. We had a big battle. Chris and I was back and forth a whole lot right there in the last 3 or 4 miles of the race, and you know, it just turned out good for me. We pushed it all the way to the finish line and got up here on the podium first.
A lot of my guys were down there and they were pointing me, and I know Balance had a little bit of a lead. I got hung up in lap traffic there. He had probably, I don't know, 10 seconds. So I decided to go through the mud hole, and I came out right behind him, and that's where I wanted to be. I just wanted to follow him, and like 2 laps to go, I made a pass. He got right by me, and then I knew there was a good line right towards the end there. I got by him, and I thought I had it covered, and just got hung up in the mud hole and fell out of my hands.
Well, he gave it quite a run. Chris BORICH, Bill Balance has got to know that he's going to have his hands full defending his championship this year. BORICH won the first 2, Balance has won this one, but we've got 10 more rounds of GNCC racing coming your way. We look at our top 3 riders on the podium. Come on, Bill, get that champagne open, brother. All right, he's working on it. Regardless, Bill Balance is back in victory lane. Will the confidence carry over to our next round in North Carolina, or will Chris BORICH fight back? We'll find out the next time we go GNCC racing.
The Grand National Cross Country Championship is sanctioned by the American Motorcyclist Association. Rights, Riding, Racing. AMA. Join now.